Yes, absolutely, positively, indubitably. See, we, hi. I'm telling you right now, if you have PlayStation, go onto the PlayStation Store. You have to have PlayStation Plus, but go get this game, download it, and whenever you get the time, go play it. Okay, even if you've never played Monster Hunter before, if you've played it like a billion times before, this is the definitive Monster Hunter game. It's not even close. Okay, well, maybe to some of you it might be. Maybe it's pretty close to Worlds, but it's way better in pretty much every way that people were complaining. It's better. Okay, it's so freaking good. I'm stunned. I played about 6 hours yesterday on stream live at twitch.tv/Truephoria. I mean, you should follow. It'll give you an extra inch on your penis. So, I mean, why not, right? So this is an open online beta, right? So you can play with people, but after the first like intro cutscenes and tutorial, right? But even before that, you get to create your character. So it's like you have this extensive character creator, which is just so cool. There's so many options for probably a lot of you have played games with good character creators. It's just a really good character creator. I mean, like, how far can I really go into it? I mean, the hair is really good. The faces are great. Like, the options, there's so many options. It's insane. Okay, and actually they have a voice option where you can actually change the, there's a few voices you could use, a few guys, a few girl voices, but you can change the pitch really high or really low. So it's like Dragon's Dogma. So you get to change the voice pitch. And I was just joking around and I put it all the way up, the pitch all the way up to see like what the voice would sound like. And it was funny. And I was like, okay, haha. And I had forgotten that I left it at a high pitch, right? So you can create your character and you can create your palico too, and you can just customize both before you get in the game. And what's really cool about the palico is you can actually have it speak English or the palico language, which is just meows, where it's like meow. Yeah, I set mine back to the meowing because that's how it traditionally is. Like, they speak in Monster Hunter or English with the text, but they always meow, so I just left it that way. And so anyway, I put my character's voice really high. I forgot I had done that because by the time I had like finished my character, it was like, I don't know, 20-30 minutes, because it's one of those character creators. I get into like the first cutscene and your character actually talks, and as soon as he spoke, I was like, what have I done? He had like a really high voice and we were all cracking up because I was playing with people from my community. We all started the game at the same time because we all wanted to play together, and we're all laughing at how ridiculous it was. So that's a cool thing. It's like, so not only does your character's customization physically like appear in the cutscenes, but also their voice. So be careful. But what's cool is you can change it once the game starts. You can go to your tent and you can actually change your character again in any way you want. So that's beautiful. But yeah, the cutscenes, dude, this game is beautiful. This game is amazing. It looks just gorgeous, and it's just gorgeous, especially on the PlayStation. And if you have like a high-end PC, it'll probably look even better. Right away struck me as like, oh yeah, like the best looking Monster Hunter. Obviously it's going to be, it's the newest one, but just from like how cinematic it is, it's even more cinematic than ones that came before it. And like there's seamless transitions from cutscene to gameplay, and it's just insane. It's insane. The entire beginning is like, I don't know, about like 15-20 minutes of like cutscenes mixed with like tutorial, where you get to fight the first monster, which is the Chatacabra. And he's like a cool design. He's kind of like a big bullfrog looking thing. He has a big old tongue, and he like is pretty strong, but he doesn't do too much damage, and he's really slow. So it's like the perfect enemy to get used to the mechanics. And I mean, the mechanics, there are so many new things you can do. Like, you get a mount immediately. You get a mount, right, for the cutscene. In the tutorial, you get a mount, and they're called secrets or whatever. They're pretty much like chocobo lizard birds. And what's really, really cool about them is they can auto run if you want, or you can take control of them manually, which is really cool. They also have like a sheath They have a pouch for more items to hold, and they have a sheath for your second weapon. This is the first Monster Hunter where you can take 2 weapons with you. So it's crazy. So there's just so much more customization for your character and like what you do dynamically in battle and everything. It's like, oh, if you're a longsword user now, if you have like a secondary weapon you would like to use, you know, back in the past Monster Hunter games, now you can just bring it with you. Like, oh, I'm a longsword user, but I also like the hammer. It's like now you can just put the hammer on your secret and just have it there for whatever you want. And what's really cool, it's like Monster Hunter Rise, where you can just call your secret whenever you want and like whistle for it, like Red Dead or whatever, and your horse comes up to you. It's the same thing. Your secret runs up to you, you get on it, and then you can switch to your other weapon and then get off and start beating the shit out of monsters or whatever. It's so sick. It's just so sick, man. If you love Monster Hunter, you're gonna just cream your pants. It's not even, dude, it's so good. And anyway, after the tutorial and everything, it opens up, you know, you get to this village or whatever, it opens up and you get to play online, and immediately you're put into a lobby with people, and the outpost that you're at just fills with real people. And it's like, whoa, my mind was exploding because I'm like, whoa, oh, the only way for that to ever happen in like World or like any other Monster Hunter was you had to go to the multiplayer area. No, it just is the multiplayer area. Just where you start out, the hub is just a hub now with people in it. It's so cool. You could like start parties. You could, you know, go and like talk to them and like do whatever you want. Like look at their player card, follow them, make parties with them. It's crazy. It's so freaking cool. But I was playing with people from my community, so we got like people from my community in to play with me, and immediately we got a party together. They have this way of doing it. It's a little confusing at first. It's like you have to make a link party. It's not just like it was kind of confusing at first. So you have to set up a link party by inviting the people you want, and then you have to invite the link party to your environment, which I guess is your server. So they call it the environment. So you have to do those 2 things to get them into your game. So yeah, you got to make sure you get that down first, and then you can just play and do whatever you want with each other. It's so, yeah, but once you get it down, it's like seamless, and you can just go in and out of like the little camp and the hub and into the wilds and just start hunting. It's so good. It's so freaking good. Whoever starts the link party is the leader, and I think they have control, because I was the leader the whole time pretty much. So I think I had control of all the quests that we got to do. But it was sick. It was sick. It really was. It was just the way it's done is seamless. And there were some problems here and there. It is an open online beta, so I expected there to be like some online issues. Sometimes it was only 2 times, actually 2 times in 6 hours we got DC'd from each other, and one was one player's connection issue to their internet, and one was, I think, the fault of the servers. We did get like kind of DC'd and put into our separate worlds where we were fighting the same monster, but like we disbanded. So it was like, and you can't easily get back into the link party and into the same environment if that happens. So that is something I think they do got to fix. But other than that, it happened 1 time. It happened twice, but one was the fault of the servers and one was another person's internet's fault. So really, it's probably not going to be a huge issue, but it is something to watch out for. There's so many things that are better. Like there's mechanics like the focus mode, where it's like you hold L2 or whatever you're playing on, and PlayStation for now, so L2, and then you go into like a mode where you're kind of like you're holding your weapon in a different way, like ready to attack, and you're moving slower, and you get a reticle where you can see where these weak points on the monster, they'll pop up for you, and you can like face the reticle towards them. It's like the first time in Monster Hunter history, besides using a bow or a gun, where you can actually like aim your attacks at certain specific spots without having to like move your entire character. It's crazy. It's so cool. And then you could do a special focus strike in that mode with a special animation doing crazy damage. It's really sick. They also have countering in this one, or parrying. Like I'm a switch axe user, so there's like this slow parry attack, and you have to, it's not like super easy to do. You have to kind of like fight the monster a little bit to see like how his attacks come out. And then once you learn the monster a bit, you can start doing parries, and you have to time your parries perfectly. And you could like either get into like a like a parry clash where you're like, oh, like, you know, you and the monster are like fighting off in like this epic fucking clash, or like you just knock him on his ass. It's really sick. It's just, it's so cinematic and badass. Like it's the sickest Monster Hunter yet, and we only got like a slice of it, like a slice of it, and yet the wilds is huge. It's open, it's crazy, the biggest map ever so far in any Monster Hunter, and it's just a slice of it. I can't even imagine where, like, how many more they have right in the main game. And we got some pretty cool monsters here, but we'll get to that in a bit. They actually buffed the ranged weapons too, like the bow. So much more fun to use. It's not even close out. They have like this arrow that is a tracer, and you can shoot it at the monster wherever you want your arrows to go. It's like you shoot the tracer around, it hit, like, let's say it hits him in the head, and then you could face, like, you could do a whole 180, face like the opposite direction, shoot in the air, and your arrows will go to where the tracer is. It's crazy. You get homing arrows now. The arrows do so much more damage. The coatings, this is the crazy part. The coatings used to like have to go craft and like hold a bunch, and if you like ran out of them, you had to go back to camp, are now pretty much infinite, and you can just keep putting them on your arrows, so you can keep refreshing your coatings and like doing powerful attacks. So, and same thing with ranged weapons like the light and the heavy bowgun. You actually have infinite which ammo was it? There's, I think, piercing ammo and the shotgun ammo, I forgot what it's called. I think it's like the close range ammo is now infinite. So that, what that tells me is they want you to kill these monsters fast. They want you to do heavy damage really fast now, and it's seamless, and it's like way more fun. It's just way more fun. So you don't have to worry about having to go back to camp, you know, how much do I have before I go. Like, some people like that, like some people like doing that, and they feel more accomplished, like having like thought out their attack plans and stuff before. But now you don't even have to do that. It's like, yeah, for some better ammunition you have to do that, and better coatings you have to do that, but they give you the basic coatings and the basic ammo infinitely now. So you don't, you can't run out now. It's like, wow, you just, beautiful. So it's like you run out of your heavy, crazy ammo, and you're like, oh, what do I do? Do I have to go back to camp? No, I got to help the homie still. And you still got some options left to like do heavy damage. So what that tells me is I think the monsters in this one that are going to be in the full game are just going to be insane, dude. Insane, dude. They gotta be, because they did give us a pretty beefy monster already. We'll get to that. I want to talk about some things like pop-up camps, right? There are like places where you can put camps instead of having to go all the way back to main base, which is like, let's say you frickin' went all the way across the map and you're like, oh my god, I have to go all the way back to main base and then come all the way back. It's like, no, there are probably a few locations where you could put some pop-up camps and just like, you know, get your items refreshed, cook a meal, or do whatever you got to do instead of having to go all the way back to the main base. Thank God, because the map's huge. There's that. Or you could just like, if you just want to eat something, like let's say your buffs from your food ran out and you're like, I just want to eat. You can actually put up like the little grill and start making food instead of just grilling meat, which that's what it used to be. It just used to be grilling meat, but now you can grill meat and you can make a whole meal, which is crazy. It's like your handler, she follows you out into the field, because essentially back in the day, quests used to just be one and done. It's like, oh, you go to the handler or whatever, you get a quest, and then you go out into the field and you do your quest, and that's it. And then you go back to camp, right? And it's all like loading screens and everything. Now it's like you could just go out into the wilds without like talking to your handler at all. She'll follow you on a freaking her own little chocobo secret thing. So like whenever you're like, oh, I want to start a new quest or end this quest, she'll be right there. She'll just be following you, and you could just talk to her, be like, hey, and then start a new quest. And it's like being on, they used to be called expeditions back in old Monster Hunters, where you could just go out into the field and there's no time limit. That's what this entire game is. You go out into the wilds and there's no time limit. There are time limits on monsters. It'll tell you when they leave. Like they get a little timer on them. It'll tell you when they leave, but you can actually just start a quest on them and they won't leave once you start that quest. And so it's just like this seamless experience, and they did it so well. And I just love it so much. I love it so much. It's so good. But yeah, they actually give you every single starting weapon to choose from. So you can pick any of the classes of weapons, but the starter weapon only. There's no crafting, there's no kitchen, there's no shops in the open beta, but you know, that's kind of to be expected. You know, it's not the full game. And so you, unfortunately, like you can defeat a bunch of monsters, get their things to craft, but you can't craft. I do kind of wish they let you craft like at least the first set or something, but like they give you the first set of everything, and they give you like a few armor sets for you to choose from, and a few armor sets for your palico, which is really, really nice. So anyway, let's talk about the monsters. All right, I think y'all want to know about the monsters. Okay, so they give us 4 monsters in this beta, right? We get the Chupacabra, which is the first monster you fight for the tutorial. You get the Balahara, the Dushagama, and then the one everyone's talking about, Ray Dow. That's right, like the electric dragon Ray Dow, or as the Monster Hunter community likes to call him, Thor Magala, for good reason. Honestly, dude, it's crazy. Just him showing up, Ray Dow. We'll get to him. But first, I want to talk about the monsters one by one, right? So the Chupacabra, he's really, really easy, right? He's like I said before, he's like the bullfrog, beefy monster. You fight him in the tutorial. He teaches you the mechanics. Overall, I mean, he's like a fun little fight. You know, he's nothing crazy, but he just teaches you everything. He's fun to just whack, you know, whatever, whack him, shoot him, whatever you got, and just get like a little monster out of the way. It feels good to kill him. It feels good to kill any monster in this, actually. So it's just nice. Nice little monster to start off with. And then they got the Balahara, which is kind of like it's like he has like the long body of like a ferret kind of thing, but he's like a monstery like lizard beast thing. And what he can do is like he can dig under the sand, and like he can roam around under the sand and pop up. He can spit at you. He can crawl on these rocks and spit at you. He's kind of fast, but he's not like too fast. And sometimes he gets like his buddies to come and jump you. So it's like you'll be fighting one, and all of a sudden like 1 or 2 more will show up, and you're like, what the fuck? And you gotta like fight a few of them at once. It's really, really cool. But he's not too hard, just a fun little boss. And then they got the Dushagama, right? The Dushagama was the one they showed in like the demos and stuff. The Dushagama usually travels in packs, right? You're going for the alpha, right? And they have like 3 to 5 around them, and you're like, what the hell? And so what you got to do is you got to shoot the group of them with like a dung bomb. You can get normal dung bombs, and you can get large ones. Large ones have like this big AoE of stink, and they don't like the stinky poopy smell, so they run away, and they all like disperse. And so then you can like hunt one-on-one with the alpha. And I just want to say the Dushagama was like the secret epic one. Like Ray Dow is the one everyone's like, oh my god, you gotta fight the Ray Dow, and he is stupid epic, and we'll get to that. But the experience we had, me and like the people I was playing with had with the Dushagama was crazy. Okay, it was so cinematic. It starts out kind of cinematic because he's in the pack. You gotta disperse him from the pack, then he runs away, and you gotta like start beating his ass, right? You're like, okay, normal Monster Hunter stuff. And what was crazy was the Ray Dow showed up, not into the fight, but once the Ray Dow shows up, he changes the weather, right? He's that epic of a guy. We'll get to that. But he changes the weather, so like lightning striking everywhere, and it gets crazy. Just the world changes from the Ray Dow showing up somewhere else on the map, which is what happened. And we're fighting the Dushagama. The lightning comes down and everything, and it's so epic, right? And you're like, oh my god, and the music's badass. And you're fighting him, and he's running away, and all of a sudden, the Balaharas come, and they start a turf war with them. And so they all jump him, like these 3 Balaharas jump him, wrap around him, freaking start biting him and shit. They're all fighting, and it's cinematic and badass, and we're all cracking up at how cool it is. He wins the turf war. We're still beating the crap out of him. He's like, "Urgh." So then he's running away. All of a sudden, this motherfucker gets struck by lightning, and we're like, what? And dude, the environment attacks him. The other monsters attack him. We're attacking him, and this guy is like holding his own. He's like, "Urgh," and he's freaking holding his own. And dude, he just won't die. Like some of them die faster than others, because we did fight him a handful of times, but I'm just like specifically talking about this one fight. And I think it was because his star rating was higher, which is a thing that these monsters have now. You can look on your map, see all the monsters on the map, and you can tell how strong they are because they have a star rating. This one had to be like a 4-star or something because he just would not die, and it was so badass, cinematic, fun. And I feel like while the Ray Dow is like already like scriptedly cinematic and epic, this fight was unintentionally cinematic and fun and epic. It was crazy, and I think that was like the highlight. While the Ray Dow is like going to be the highlight for most people, for some reason the Deshagama in, you know, is when multiplayer and all the stuff happening around us all at once, and it was perfectly just dynamic, right? Because not every fight of the Deshagama that we had last night was like this, but one in particular was just, everything came together in this culmination of this beautiful symphony that they've crafted for you, and it was just like mind-blowing. I'm like, I can only imagine how many more moments like that we're going to get in the full game. But anyway, yeah, that fight was sick, but we have to talk about the Ray Dow, aka Thor Magala. That dude, that fight is just instantly epic. The music, the lightning gets crazy, the just his move set, and just how badass you feel dodging out of the way, getting attacks in, him like blowing the shit out of you with some of his moves. He is just so epic. And you know, I was streaming last night, streaming the game, and people were joining in just to say, oh my god, I fought him, he's so epic, he's such a fun fight, oh, or like, and then people were like, oh, I died, but I beat him too. Like, it was just really fucking cool to see, and to have the community, the Monster Hunter community, come together and like talk about it. It's so fun, guys. Like, it's such a good game. I can't recommend it enough, honestly. If you have PlayStation, go get it right now, because we have like 3 days early. Well, it's already a day down now essentially, but by the time I put this video up, so you'll have like 2 extra days on people on Steam or Xbox right now. So I'm not saying like, oh, hold that over them. I'm just saying get as much playtime in as possible as you can. Like, you might as well, right? So you might as well just go get it now. Yeah, I think overall this Monster Hunter is seemingly, as like the kids are saying now, is going to be generational. Like, this is going to last so long, and you can tell just from the beta. So this is going to be so fun for years. It's going to be fun for years. And I just think the vanilla game is going to be fun for years. Knowing Capcom and the way they make their Monster Hunter games, the vanilla game is going to be epic. And then, dude, not even to speak of the DLC expansion they're going to put out. And then once they do the expansion, which is, knowing them, the expansions are usually longer than the vanilla games. So it's like, we're going to get Wilds, and then we're going to get Wilds plus on the DLC whenever that comes out in like a year or 2, year and a half or whatever. And then what they do is they add free updates of monsters after that to keep it going for years. So this is the game. It's probably going to be my game of the year, unless some other game. Well, I mean, GTA is coming out next year. So just think of that though. We're getting this, we're getting GTA. Dude, next year is going to be insane for video games. 2025 is going to be insane. I know it's another topic, but I'm just saying, like, this is coming out February 28th, 2025. So you better get on this now. You better get on this open beta right now. I'm telling you. Like, for me, I'm gonna have to give this a 9.5 out of 10. Like, there are some issues here and there. Like, it's not perfect, but man, if you're a Monster Hunter fan, you're gonna be creaming. Your smile is gonna be beaming. All right, you're gonna be so happy you played this game. So I'm telling you, get on it. If you're a PlayStation user, get on it now. If you're an Xbox or Steam user, okay, you gotta wait a few days, but I'm telling you, as soon as it drops for you guys, please get on it. Because guess what? The PlayStation users, the Xbox users, the Steam users, they'll all be able to play with each other. That's right, it's cross-plat. Guys, they have cross-platform play. It's insane. This game is going to be amazing. So I'm telling you right now, overall, epic. You guys gotta get it. There's probably a few things I forgot to talk about because there was so much in it, just packed in, but overall, epic, fun. You gotta play it. Play. Don't, if you don't want to take my word for it, go see for yourself, okay? But hey, if you've already played it, let me know in the comments what your favorite moments have been so far, because this game is amazing. Yeah, honestly, I hope to see you guys in the wilds, all right? But yeah, I guess that's it.